Let's get started. Start with listening, and then learn new words and practice them in sentences.
Have you ever wondered what role the U.S. Supreme Court plays in the American government? This question leads us to the heart of American democracy. The United States Supreme Court is a cornerstone of the American government, holding immense power and influence. It is the highest court in the land, established by Article 3 of the United States Constitution. This provision grants the Supreme Court the ultimate authority in interpreting the Constitution, making it the final arbiter of legal disputes. The Supreme Court is composed of 9 justices, 1 Chief Justice, and 8 Associate Justices. The Chief Justice is considered the head of the American judiciary, presiding over the Supreme Court's public sessions and setting the agenda for private conferences where decisions are made. The Associate Justices, though of equal vote, support the Chief Justice in these duties. Now you might be wondering, how does one become a Supreme Court justice? The process of judicial appointments is an intricate dance of power between the 3 branches of government. The President of the United States nominates a candidate who must then be confirmed by the Senate. This process is an essential check and balance within the American governmental system, ensuring no single branch holds too much power. The power of the Supreme Court extends beyond the courtroom. Its decisions influence American laws, societal norms, and even the course of history. From civil rights to freedom of speech, from privacy to public policy, the Supreme Court's rulings shape the American landscape. It is a guardian of the Constitution, tasked with ensuring its principles are upheld in every corner of the nation. In its role as the final arbiter of legal disputes, the Supreme Court has the unique authority to interpret the Constitution and set precedents that guide future legal decisions. This power enables it to influence not only the law of today, but also the legal landscape of tomorrow. The Supreme Court's power and influence are deeply embedded in the American legal and political system. Its role, while often shrouded in legal jargon and complex procedures, is fundamental to the functioning of American democracy. Its influence, while not always immediately apparent, reverberates through every aspect of American life. Opening, how does the Supreme Court interpret the Constitution, and what is the principle of judicial review? Diving right into it, the Supreme Court interprets the Constitution through a process known as judicial review. This principle empowers the Supreme Court to examine federal and state laws and even executive actions to determine if they align with the Constitution. When a law is found to be in conflict with the Constitution, the court has the authority to declare it null and void. In essence, judicial review is the Supreme Court's mechanism to ensure the supremacy of the Constitution. Now let's delve into some landmark cases that have utilized this principle and shaped American jurisprudence. One of the earliest and most influential is Marbury v. Madison in the early 19th century. This case established the principle of judicial review itself, affirming the Supreme Court's role as the final arbiter of the Constitution. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, we have Brown v. Board of Education. This case demonstrated how the Supreme Court can drive social change. The court's decision to strike down segregation in public schools marked a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement, and firmly established that separate is inherently unequal. Another significant case is Roe v. Wade in the 70s. By affirming a woman's constitutional right to privacy, the court effectively legalized abortion nationwide, sparking ongoing debates on reproductive rights and personal liberties. These landmark cases, among others, illustrate how the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution can greatly influence public policy, civil rights, and social change. Through the principle of judicial review, the court has not only shaped the legal landscape, but also played a key role in defining the societal norms and values that underpin American democracy. Closing, the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Constitution has had profound impacts on American society. Whether it's affirming individual liberties, ensuring equal protection under the law, or upholding democratic principles, the court's constitutional interpretations continue to shape the nation, leaving a lasting legacy that resonates far beyond the courtroom. How does the Supreme Court affect social change and individual liberties? This question sets the stage for our discussion of the Supreme Court's profound impact on American society. The Supreme Court, as the final arbiter of the law, has the power to interpret the Constitution in ways that protect individual liberties. It ensures that the rule of law is upheld, providing a stable framework within which society can function. For instance, it was the court that affirmed the right to freedom of speech, a cornerstone of American democracy. But the court's influence extends beyond safeguarding individual rights. Its decisions shape public policy and can even catalyze social change. For example, the landmark case of Brown versus the Board of Education in 1954 led to the desegregation of public schools, a groundbreaking moment in the struggle for racial equality. In another pivotal case, Roe versus Wade in 1973, the court ruled that women have a constitutional right to privacy, effectively legalizing abortion. This decision not only altered public policy, but also triggered a ripple effect of societal changes, igniting debates about women's rights and reproductive health that continue to this day. The court's role in social change is not always straightforward, though. Its decisions can be controversial, sparking intense debate and even resistance. Yet it is this very capacity to challenge and disrupt established norms that makes the Supreme Court such a powerful agent of change. Through its interpretations of the Constitution, the court can push society towards greater justice and equality. It has the power to reshape societal norms, challenge discriminatory practices, and uphold the principles of liberty and justice. Indeed, the Supreme Court plays a pivotal role in shaping the societal landscape of America. Its decisions echo through time, influencing public policy, protecting individual liberties, and prompting social change. Through the lens of the Supreme Court, we see a reflection of America's evolving values and ideals, a testament to the power of the judiciary in a democratic society. What are some of the contemporary issues facing the Supreme Court today? This question invites us to delve into the pressing challenges confronting the highest court in the land. Firstly, let's tackle the concept of judicial activism. This refers to the perception or reality of judges making decisions based on personal or political considerations rather than existing law. Critics argue that this undermines the rule of law, while proponents assert that it can be a necessary tool for social justice. Next up is the debate between originalism and living constitutionalism. Originalists believe that the Constitution should be interpreted as its framers intended, while proponents of living constitutionalism argue that the Constitution should evolve to reflect societal changes. This dichotomy often sparks intense debate, particularly during judicial confirmation hearings. Lastly, the politicization of the judiciary is a growing concern. The Supreme Court is intended to be an independent body, free from the influence of politics. However, contentious nomination processes and increasing partisan divides have led some to question the impartiality of the court. These issues are not just academic debates, they have real-world implications. They shape how laws are interpreted and applied, they influence the balance of power within the government, and they affect the lives of everyday Americans. Reflecting on these contemporary challenges underscores the importance of an independent judiciary in preserving democratic principles and ensuring equal justice under the law. It is the bulwark against arbitrary power, the guarantor of individual liberties, and the final arbiter of our most contentious disputes. In the face of these contemporary issues, the Supreme Court must strive to maintain its integrity, impartiality, and commitment to the rule of law. The decisions it makes today will shape the legal landscape for generations to come, and it is our responsibility as informed citizens to understand and engage with these critical issues. As we can see, the Supreme Court continues to play a crucial role in the American government, facing numerous challenges and controversies in the modern era.
Let's learn new words and practice English with the topic, the role of the U.S. Supreme Court at level B2. Judiciary. Judiciary, the system of courts that interprets and applies the law in the name of the state. Example, the U.S. Supreme Court is the highest court in the federal judiciary and has significant influence on American law. Jurisdiction. Jurisdiction, the official power to make legal decisions and judgments. Example, the Supreme Court has jurisdiction over cases that involve federal laws, conflicts between states, and disputes involving the U.S. government. Precedent. Precedent, a legal decision or form of proceeding serving as an authoritative rule or pattern in future similar or analogous cases. Example, decisions made by the Supreme Court often set a precedent that lower courts must follow. Litigation. Litigation, the process of taking legal action, the process of suing someone or trying them in a court of law. Example, the Supreme Court handles litigation that can affect national policies and the direction of public legal standards. Constitutionality. Constitutionality, the quality or state of being in accordance with the Constitution. Example, the Supreme Court reviews laws and actions to determine their constitutionality, ensuring they do not violate the principles of the Constitution.
Thank you for watching. Like, write a comment of more than 4 words to support us, and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss new videos. Goodbye.